So now we're adding a little bit more to it. We want to relate it to our parent function. And in part A, first, we need to describe the sequence of transformations. So first, we have to identify that our parent function is sine x. Now, I'm going to rewrite this as negative sine, open bracket. I'm factoring out a 2 here, of x plus pi over 2 plus 4. So now I can focus on this to see my transformations. So this negative means that we are going to reflect across x-axis. And since it's actually a 1 there, we have an amplitude of 1. Now I need to use this 2 to help me find my period, which is 2 pi over 2, which is pi. Here, adding pi over 2 is going to shift left pi over 2, and then adding 4 on the end, shift up 4 units. So that's part A. I'm going to go ahead and do part C next because it's easier. They want us to write it in function notation. So g of x equals 4 minus f of 2x plus pi. That should feel like a review. Now I'm going to go to part B, which is telling us to sketch the graph. So the first thing I need to find is my endpoints of the first period. So normally we would start at 0, but we're shifting left pi over 2. So that means we start at negative pi over 2. Normally we would end at the end of our period, which is pi, but we're shifting left pi over 2. So that means we're going to end at pi over 2. Now we're only asking us to sketch. They didn't ask for 2 periods. So unless I ask for it, let's just do 1 period. So now I am going to draw the bottom of my x-axis. And since we're going up 4, I'm going to give myself more room up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Since we're shifting up 4, this is going to be my new 0 line here. All right, and my amplitude is 1, so I need to make sure I can go 1 above that. So now let me do my x's. I'm starting at negative pi over 2. I'm ending at pi over 2. The middle is 0. Here is going to be negative pi over 4. Here is pi over 4. Now I've got everything I need to sketch my curve. So it's sine x, which starts at 0 here, but my 0 line is going to be here at negative pi over 2, 4. Now normally sine goes up, but since it's reflecting across the x-axis, it's going to come down an amplitude of 1. It's going to come back up to 0, up an amplitude of 1, and back down to 0. So it's a skinnier thing because I didn't draw it that big. So now let me label some of these points. This is negative pi over 4, and that's going to be 3. This is positive pi over 4, and that's going to be 5. And that's going to be all I need for these. Your zeros, I know where they land.